80 minutes down the track. One of them will not be here. Nagus comes back to a shoulder. I think it was Stevens. Big tackle. Looks spectacular. The Raiders now with DeVico. This was a very big run by Nagus, and he ended on the tackle from Jason Stevens. So the combat is strong in the opening exchanges, with the boot of Stewart taking some pressure away, and what a lovely kick.
It was a great kick, and it's always nice to get your first one away exactly the way you want it, and that's what Ricky Stewart has done here, kicking from just outside his 30. He finds touch down the 10-metre line, so that's a good 50 or 60 picked up by Stewart, who's laying down the law. What about the quality of this Cronulla pack? Shown by the fact that they've got Sean Ryan, a New South Wales representative this season, and Les Davidson being relegated back to the bench. They're the players to come into the game at some stage, so there's no respite for the opposition.
Bell. Now Greenhill. 23 metres away from his own line. Canberra have only won here at Shark Park once in the last decade. So they've got a big job in front of them. As Nickau runs off a pass from Green. Just beyond the 30-metre line. This is the final. And the winner will go to ANZ for the grand final next Saturday night. That will be played in front of a crowd of somewhere around 50,000. 40-metre line now. On the last for Cronulla. Green away for Healy. He decides to put it through the hands. Eddinghausen's kick comes back towards the 20-metre line in from touch. And 20 away from the goal line. Nagus is with it. Canberra now bring it out of their own territory for the second time in the game with Jason Burnham. Passes with DeVico. Came off the bench last Monday. Played a part, though, a good part. Hetherington, welcome to 100. And the hitter again was Stephen. Now, a good play to ball. Brad Clyde runs blindside. Met there by Nickau. Peachy falls back. A kick that will find the dead ball line.
And from the distance that Laurie Daly and Ricky Stewart's kick has travelled, Gary Belcher, I'm assuming that Canberra are running with a fairly stiff breeze in the first 40.
Well, Sterlo, a couple of hours ago it was a real strong northeasterly, but now it's dropped off a bit. Certainly is in favour of Ricky Stewart and Laurie Daly's kicking game. Firm underfoot and a nice softening up period there. Both sides keen to make no errors, particularly Cronulla after that ordinary start last week.
Greenhill taking the first hit up in the new set of 6. Stevens. Hetherington went looking for him. Now from Green. Healy away. McKenna runs down the left side of the ground. 10 metres into Canberra's area. Penalty has been given to Cronulla. You didn't have to be told. They'll bring Rogers across, surely.
Well, Craig Greenhill came racing in. He thought there might have been a tap involved, but it was always going to be a Matt Rogers penalty attempt. First points and early points so important in these kind of games. We do expect this one to be a close one and points to be at a premium. Matt Rogers, the way that he's been striking them lately, it's got to be a very, very good chance of putting this one over, only 30 metres out, about 20 in from touch.
One would have thought this was an area Mal Meninga would have been talking about. Long and hard. Nothing for Rogers inside the simple area.
Especially on the other side of the coin, Ray. No David Ferner out there tonight. He was injured last week, of course, and Laurie Daly, we assume, will take on the kicking duties once again. I think he kicked about 6 from 8 last week. But even Laurie would admit to the fact that he's not a recognised goal kicker, and he's no certainty to be on target as often tonight.
Rogers kicking into the breeze. Sharks running towards the bay end of the ground. 30 metres out. 21 in from touch. Hit it beautifully. Rogers gets first points in the final. 2-0 Cronulla after 5.
And it has been a very good softening up period to start this game, just the way it should be. Jason Stevens heavily involved. We saw his opening hit on David Peachy. He followed one up with Brett Hetherington. With all the forwards hitting nice and hard. Cronulla with the added advantage also of Chris McKenna, a former centre, lurking on the fringe of the ruck, and it looks as though that's where he'll be aiming his attack most of the evening.
Cronulla starts us again. Stewart sending Nandruku back. His run ending about 5 metres inside the red zone for Canberra. Hetherington again put down by Stevens. It looked a shade high. Chance for Cronulla. McKenna runs hard. Penalty goes to Canberra.
Well, this goes back to the hand in the play of the ball.
Can you just turn the touches up?
And that was the problem for Bill Harrigan. He looked straight across for a call from his touch judge. It took that amount of time for the volume to get through to him that it had been raked out by a Cronulla player. Difficult to pick up the man who was at fault. But to Bill Harrigan's credit, he was able to pull it up in time and give Canberra their deserved penalty.
One of the reasons he's the #1 referee in Super League. Nandruku now to the halfway line. Prittis a short ball up. Luke DeVico has taken upon himself to take it up on the first. Stewart inside. Prittis away. Back to Burnham. Oh, silly pass. They baffled themselves with razzle-dazzle. Now Greenhill. No razzle-dazzle with Craig. Treaster about to sweep it off to the right. Stevens is with it. 3 or 4 metres into Canberra's area. 2 points to 0. The Sharks in front. As Bell steps on his left foot. Try to put on a little in and away. Cronulla with all of the territory at the moment. All of the football. Nick out. Centre of the controversy surrounding the Kiwi team. Now, Green goes high. That's an Andrew Walker ball. Up they go. Chance for Cronulla. And Brett Mullins. Brett Mullins gets saved a certain try at the moment.
Yeah, it's a good decision again here from Bill Harrigan. There's no doubt Ricky Stewart interfered with Andrew Eddinghausen on the chase. The advantage was played when it didn't come to the extent that Cronulla would have liked. The referee blew the whistle, and another opportunity for Matt Rogers to add points. Ricky Stewart definitely interfered with Andrew Eddinghausen, who was leading the chase.
The incident Peter was talking about came just before that.
And Brett Mullins, if he hadn't have taken this intercept, it was certainly going to be a try for Paul Green or Matt Rogers, probably the halfback.
That's the point I was trying to make, Peter. Brett Mullins, no matter what the judgment from the referee, Mullins has saved a certain 4-pointer. They were outnumbered out there, and Mullins got himself into it, saving a try. It might be 2 points, but it could well have been 6. Rogers 1 from 1. This time he's 15 in, and he's 18 away. From the Leagues Club side, again he got it beautifully. 4 points to 0, Cronulla over Canberra as we go to a break. 9 minutes gone.
You're watching Fox.
Again Rogers starts. He's getting plenty of kicking practice. 3 times he has started from the halfway. Well, that's got to be a penalty. Jason Stevens has been more than enthusiastic, but this time he's gone over the top.
Well, I'll give a little bit of benefit of the doubt to the Cronulla players there. I think maybe they thought Ken Nagus was still grappling in the tackle to make some progress, when in fact he was trying to play the football. But it was a penalty.
Well, you might recall Canberra gave Cronulla a start here a fortnight ago, and then they had to play catch-up. It's starting to unfold in a similar pattern. 10th minute of the game, down by 4. Hetherington He's been on the end of a couple of big tackles. That time it was Priester who brought him down. They're 10 metres into Cronulla's territory, the Raiders. Desperate to play their arch rivals Brisbane in the grand final. Daly sweeps it. Cronulla's defence up in the face. Stewart then. Purposeful. And finding the touch line, but in goal area. So it'll come back to the 20 for the tap. "30 years of age, Ricky Stewart. Formerly played rugby before making the changeover, and he's reached the highest levels of rugby league. 15 metres their own side of halfway. Cronulla with McKenna. 4 points to 0 off the boot of Rogers. Now from Priester, a flat ball, finding Green. Nickau was running with him, but then Priddis picks Green up and puts him away unceremoniously. Lee, a long run. Good run for a prop. Green is still there. Wants more work. 40 metres out from Canberra's line. Peachy is the acting half. Healy puts the kick in, keeping it low. And it's a big in goal at Shark Park. Nagus has got a problem. A pack of sharks on top of him.
Perfectly weighted kick there from Mitch Healy. Well, his kicking game had been a little bit off in the last couple of performances I've seen, but that was a great kick. The wind against him helped a little bit, and also the big in-goal area here. And Ken Nagus, when he picked up the football, he was confronted by 3 Cronulla defenders. It was 100 to 1 to get back into the field of play.
So Cronulla keep the pressure on them. They've had a massive amount of possession and territorial advantage. Greenhill with a long run. It seemed to take him half an hour to find the defence. On the 30-metre line, they go to the short side for Stevens on the club side of the ground. Playing it back for Priester to come left for Green and then for Healy. Peachy ran a decoy. Nickau puts a short ball up for Richardson. It was a jolting tackle from Hetherington. He and Stevens really are hitting hard. Peachy again to the right. Healy, a little dummy off to the left and then giving it for Green. Green calls the winger Rogers in. He puts an arc-like circle around Eddinghausen. 57% of possession goes to Cronulla. Greenhill! I think he's got it down. Harrigan's there, he said held up.
Short, held up when he got the line. Went up for a scrum.
I think Craig Greenhill was taken by as much surprise as everybody else at the ground at the ease that he went through this Canberra tackle. The misses from Jason Croker. Reaches out at the end. Somehow Canberra have been able to hold it up. This will be a perfect view of what happens. And it does appear as though Bradley Clyde has got his hand under the ball. Cronulla now still in possession.
Gone back behind him.
Bell. That's the 10-metre line. Good opportunity for Cronulla. Stevens. Priester looking around to the right. Healy! Oh, that was a tackle that had to be made by Clyde. Priester again. There's a punch up in back play. Nickau. 5 metres out from the line. Canberra scrambling. They're desperate, the Raiders. Healy goes for the kick and it comes down with Canberra. Hetherington it was. So, if Cronulla were good in attack, Canberra were better in defence.
And put a couple of try-savers down there for Bradley Clyde. It did appear as though Cronulla were going to crack the defence and get a 4-pointer, but Clyde on 2 occasions was the key man. DeVico now charges forward. That's a strong run to take a 43 out from his own line.
This is Todd Payton.
He was only playing schoolboy football last year for Arundel College, so big night for Todd Payton. He's a very talented player. Croker gets the fen going. Finally wrestled the ground, 39 out from the Cronulla line.
Mullins then on 5. Gives it to Stewart. towering kick. Nandruku's after it. Peachy's underneath it. Nandruku appeals for obstruction. Rogers comes away like he did a fortnight ago. Treaster makes a good run. 31 metres out from their own line. Greenhill playing very strongly, Craig Greenhill.
And Jason Stevens also, 15 minutes, gets his rest. Lees Davidson into the
I called
action.
you.
Another penalty.
Number 20, mate. He was in front and I called you back and you still went in.
Well, you've got to say, with what we've seen in the first 16 minutes, Canberra are probably a little bit fortunate to only be 4 points in arrears. The tide has really been against them. All the field position, plenty of football. They've been the ones that have been forced to scramble in defence. So to keep their line intact, that will please Mal Meninga and also give Canberra a fair degree of confidence.
Davidson. These forwards for Cronulla are making a lot of yards before being put away in the tackle. Greenhill now, 9 metres out, close to the uprights. Treaster, the run around, the dummy. They come back down the blind side. Nickau away. And Cronulla Sutherland close to the line. Sean Ryan in 24. All the field on the right to work with. Green almost slipped through. Nandruku Nagas makes a desperate tackle. They put it through the hands. Healy from Ettinghausen. Flick pass for Rogers. He's over the line. Rogers is over.
Well, I've just given them a rap, Canberra, for their defence, but finally they've been opened up and it was out wide. Game the chief destroyers for Andrew Ettinghausen and Matt Rogers. Good work also from Mitch Healy. He attracted a couple of defenders. Ettinghausen got outside Brett Mullins, and that opened up a little bit of room back on the inside eventually for Matt Rogers. Just have a look at the way Ettinghausen puts a move on Brett Mullins here. There he goes, outside. That meant that Fullerby was also taken up in attendance of Ettinghausen. That made it a little bit easier for that man there. And what about his point scoring feats over the last season? 8 points tonight for Cronulla, all coming from Matt Rogers, and it could be 10.
Well, we've talked about rugby league's combinations, the great combinations down through the years. But centre winger combination, I don't think I can recall anything better than what I'm watching in front of me these days. Andrew Ettinghausen and Matt Rogers. They are almost synchronized. And Ettinghausen flicked past with confidence, and it was as if he knew Rogers would be there. Here he is from the touchline, coming around, but I don't think enough. Not in time anyway. The Sharks of Cronulla by 8 points. Well, you've seen it all before. Rogers again with what must be his 6th place kick of the night. Under Super League rules, of course, the team that scores, they restart. And he's had 3 shots at goal and kicked off 3 times. Gary Belcher's on the sidelines with us tonight.
Yeah, Ray, just an observation from here. The Raiders play a very, very tight, compressed defence.
You'll never mark up.
And
You're still coming around.
Just listen to what Billy Harrigan has to say. And I think that's showing a bit of space out wide to Cronulla. We'll see a lot of ball thrown at there as this half and the second half progresses. They're seeing some space, and I think the likes of Ettinghausen is going to love it.
Brad Clyde taking the line finder. Big kicker of the ball, Clyde. Simon Wolford is on. He managed to spark the Raiders last Monday night. Not that they needed any sparking, but he and Priddis were outstanding for them. Nagas comes in from the back. Nagus, a strong run that ends about 12 metres away from Cronulla's line, which hasn't been really tested tonight. Stewart, Clyde, Burnham, now Boyle. Boyle is 8 away, and Bell puts him down over the top. Healy's underneath. Wolford's at acting half. Mullins is on the blind side. Burnham goes open side. And then it's Payton who made that little run. Stewart spins around. Mandruku comes in. Gets away from Nikau, and it's with Jason Croker. Croker is 7 metres from the line. Bradley Clyde puts in a little kick, but David Peachey was there for the bounce.
It's a very well orchestrated defensive pattern for the Cronulla Sharks. They slid beautifully to make sure they nullified any advantage out wide that the Canberra players were looking to establish. Peachey positioned beautifully, and now Sean Ryan takes it out over the 20. Now that was their first real test, and they handled it fairly comfortably.
Harrigan was right on top of it. The Cronulla fans thought it was a high tackle on Sean Ryan. Treaster now. Davidson. Trailing around the legs, Wolford. Over the top was the man with the right forearm heavily bandaged, Croker. A mid-season injury for Jason. He's back filling an important role. It didn't find touch. Nagus, will-o'-the-wisp. Good run by Nagus. He's down to the 40-metre line. Canberra really doing it hard here. Boyle came inside for Daly. Mandruku's down the sideline. Peachey made a great tackle.
Bring him up, bring him up.
I wondered if Peachey get on side to make that tackle. Stewart. Daly crossing the 30-metre line. They're all over Daly. 25 metres out from the line. Cronulla under pressure again. Payton. Just outside the 20. They're right in centre ground. Wolford away from Danny Lee. Takes Sean Ryan to ground with Les Davidson. Now Cronulla's backpedaling. Stewart puts it in. Bell comes away. They've repelled them.
And it's not often you see Canberra relieve pressure that easily as Bill Harrigan finds another penalty. A relieving one for the Sharks. And I agree, Paul. He's somewhere else, isn't he? You're right. With the break made by Nandruku, I've got a real doubt that both Danny Lee and Peachey are on side to get the marker. I thought it should have been a penalty.
Yeah, I do too. Things were happening that quickly, though. You really can't stop and dwell on opinions. Johnny Lang, he would have to be. He'd have to be very happy with the way things are unfolding here. Gary Belcher on the sideline.
Well, just a play before that, Sterlo, Peachey's tackle on Noah Nandruku. You'd almost back him to score every time with that great evasive skill he's got. But Peachey, he's playing with such confidence, did it easy, and really Nandruku sort of stepped himself back into a hole.
Things are happening that quickly, I forgot who you were.
That's okay. No, that's okay. You'll find as you get older, that's a problem with most of us. On the halfway line now. Green running the short side. Rogers comes in. Losing it. Mullins has got it, but it'll be stripped. And a penalty. Now he's advanced the mark. Well, that's lunacy. Rogers is kicking like Robin Hood.
Well,
hang on, he wasn't a kicker, was he? He was an archer.
He was an archer. He had a bow and arrow.
Sorry.
And I'm surprised that...
I was going to give him 10 as soon as he threw it away. I was always going to give him 10, Rick, always.
I was going to say I'm surprised that they're not going to kick for goal here. It's only 30 out, and it's on the better side for Matt Rogers. So a supremely confident decision here from the Sharks.
Healy. Richardson.
Here I am, fellas, here I am.
Stewart has made a couple of desperate tackles. Sean Ryan swallowed by the defence. 10 away from the line. Into the hands of Healy and on for Green. Nikau for the runaround, the dummy, the double play. McKenna is there. 7 away. Now Davidson. 3 metres out. Green. Eddinghausen. Stevens was within. 5 gone. To the left they come. Healy off the right foot. The jump is on. Oh!
Taken over by Blue.
Bill Harrigan.
You want to have a look? Okay.
Bill Harrigan wants to have a look at it.
Yeah, I think this is a good decision too. I'm just wondering whether Bell was able to knock the ball backwards, and if there wasn't a knock on, it may well be the Cronulla player has forced it in the in-goal area. The kick straight across there. Bell flies high. May have gone back.
Gee, I find it hard to believe it went back.
Well, let's have a look from this angle. Well, it's gone forward. I'm wondering whether they're looking at it to see whether Peachy's got it in time. The touch judge there has obviously waved his flag and said no.
I think there's a double-barreled reason for calling for the replay. It's to decide where we start the match from. And that comes up with the decision, no try. No try. I couldn't really ever think that it was. And Peter got it right with Bell. Bell certainly got a touch to it, but it went forward off him. And inside the touchline, Peachy put downward pressure on it, but it's certainly no try. They've got it right, every aspect of it. Clive. They reach the 40-metre line with Hetherington, youngster who came from Young to join the Raiders. Tremendous breeding ground for players to join the Raiders. And this will find touch down on the Cronulla 10-metre line. I've got to say that that Leagues Club across the road, it must have, just watching this kick again, it must be housing a lot of people prior to the match, because the moment the match kicked off, every seat was filled.
It's almost like being in England, isn't it? It's that cold over there that 5 minutes before kick-off, no one's at the ground, and all of a sudden there's 20,000. But you're right, the hills are very sparsely populated right before kick-off. Now a good, healthy crowd here to watch the home team in action.
Green putting it onto the chest of McKenna, who runs into another heavy tackle. A joint tackle from Croker and Hetherington. Now Stevens goes down the blind. Met there by Mullins and Clyde. Mullins defending on the left of the ground, as he normally does. Nicker. And Wolford has to come over the top to assist the tackle of Jason Burnham. Healy held by a foot. Got it back for Priester. Then he runs into a jolting tackle from DeVico. A couple of these tackles have been suspect tonight, but Bill Harrigan has ruled very quickly on them. Albert Fullerby taking on Rogers, reaching the 40-metre line. Canberra's end of the ground. 28th minute of the game, about to go, as Nagus is flung down heavily by Sean Ryan and Les Davidson. DeVico, a short ball for Burnham, but Stevens is working in the middle, and I think he's pretty happy to have Sean Ryan out there now. This is the problem. You've got to crack Cronulla's defence. How you do that when they're in the mood they are tonight. Advantage rule. Cronulla's ball on the halfway. Mullins couldn't take it. Davidson gains another 10.
And gained it after a good catch. Difficult take for a big man, but he stretched out, got it in, and Sean Ryan now, another jolting tackle from Brett Hetherington. I know they have looked suspect, but I think Bill Harrigan has got it right every time. No penalty for some high stuff tonight. Good rugged defence and a good flowing game.
Jason Stevens playing a major part for Cronulla on the 30-metre line. Away from Green for Healy. Shows it to McKenna, gives it to Richardson, and then they give it to Richardson. Canberra. Wolford working hard with Croker. Green stepping, deciding to put a kick in. A big one, and coming off his wing to mark it in spectacular fashion, Nandruku. His understanding with Nagus exhibited in that passage of play. Nagus will play it back for Priddis to sweep it on. Stewart to give for Croker. Stewart trails through. Croker a quick play the ball. Now DeVico again. They're threadbare for front rowers. Canberra and DeVico and Hetherington have risen to the task. Good yards for Canberra. It's been a good passage. Stewart, Daly. Daly runs to them. David Boyle is there. He's put down. 25 metres away from the Cronulla line. Canberra down by 8 points. DeVico again. Fifth tackle. 11 metres away from the line. Stewart for the kick. Can't go through. Let's go over. Mullins goes up, but the ball goes dead.
Ball it off. Okay, ball it off Green.
Well, it's come off Brett Mullins, so it'll be a 20-metre restart for Cronulla. And they're starting to get a sniff, the Raiders. What they need to do is to get a repeat set of 6. Mullins flew high. In fact, he was on his way back down by the time the ball arrived.
Come on, Hawkins, quick.
Sharks. Stevens again bringing it away. Treaster. So they've come 30 metres on 2 plays, thanks to Stevens and Treaster. Neckau had Green with him for the short ball. 45 metres away from Canberra's line. Cronulla, their turn to attack. Healy with a dummy. Now, Peachy had to scamper up to dummy half. Makes yards before kicking. Nandruku will watch it over the sideline in goal. 8-0 Cronulla. As you would expect, finals, this is so tight. Cronulla got away to a brilliant start. Canberra gave a couple of badly disciplined penalties to them. Rogers hurt them, and then Rogers and Eddinghausen hurt them again. But Peter is of the belief, oh, look at this for a tackle from Eddinghausen. Peter's of the belief, though, that Canberra have got a little snip, and they're looking for points before half-time. That may eventuate. Nager's back 4. Is that DeVico?
Well, the problem so far for Canberra is the fact that they can't get quality possession. They've really only had sets of 6 and then had to give the football away. They haven't been able to string it together. You have a look at the defensive efforts now. It's 104 to 83, so nearly 5 sets extra.
You went in with him.
Defence for the Raiders to do. This is exactly what they needed. I think they'll kick the touch here.
There was no question that Canberra finished the better of the 2 sides here a fortnight ago.
Go, mate.
And keep in mind, on that occasion, there was a controversial try scored by Cronulla to open the point scoring on that night. Canberra haven't forgotten that. They also know they can come from behind and beat any side. Payton, bustling run, bumping his way towards the line. Stewart there, Daly with him. A collision of players off to the left. Played by Stewart for Daly. Daly then for DeVico. DeVico close. Still able to get it away. He had 3 defenders on him. Stewart finds Nagus. And Neckau combines with Greenhill. Clyde's pass. Stewart on. Daly with it. Daly decides it's time for him. But they're waiting for him. He's like a magnet, Daly. Pass was bad. Stewart got it and got the kick on it. Taken in goal, it'll come back to the 20 for the restart.
Well, the snip has been snuffed out. Great defence there. Greenhill hit Nagus with a corker. But just not the well-oiled machine that we're used to seeing with Canberra with the football. Especially around the dummy half area. At times, Ricky Stewart has got too many players in his way and it's just not unfolding.
So Cronulla with Davidson crossing the 40-metre line. 6 minutes from half-time. Cronulla's had the better of everything. Will that be the mode of the night? Will it continue that way? Green now. Using McKenna. Chris McKenna playing in the forwards tonight. That's where he likes it. Green offloading for Ryan. Ryan called upon to kick. It's a high one down to Mandruku, who seems to have improved his ability to take the high ball as his experience in rugby league has matured. Now one-on-one, Greenhill has got possession for Cronulla. Well, that was a bad loss by Nagus. Danny Lee, 17 away from the line. Treaster. Davidson, 10 metres in from touch and 10 metres out. Another good chance here for Cronulla. Greenhill ran into the shoulder of DeVico. That must have hurt. He hit him with everything. Green away. Healy inside. Ryan. And Sean Ryan put down by Jason Burnham. Rogers a dummy half. Healy's kick. Allowed to bounce by Mullins. He was cool. Green was able to get that ball back into the field of play, and Eddinghausen puts it over the dead ball line.
On the ground, here with the
It
foot.
just didn't work out for Cronulla there. The kick was across to where there were no Cronulla chasers. In fact, they'd all come infield, and some acrobatic work there from Paul Green to give his side some opportunity for something to happen. Just have a look at this effort from the number 7. Great stuff. Unfortunately, Eddinghausen put the kick too deep under pressure.
So with little time in the first half, Canberra bring this set back down the ground with Priddis taken down by Danny Lee and Tawira Nikau. Daly a dummy half looking for a quicker play the ball. Stewart pushing it on the left. Clyde coming back into traffic. Mullins was running on the left. Clyde wanted him on the right. Stewart. Then Daly. Burnham out wide. Inside ball, Boyle. Hetherington's pass knocked down by Daly.
Yeah, rare mistake there from Laurie Daly, but not his fault. It was a tough pass from Hetherington as Russell Richardson makes good metres to the halfway line. This game is very reminiscent of what we saw a fortnight ago. Cronulla seemed to be going along very nicely, comfortable leaders. But when you look at the scoreboard, you find that Canberra have maintained contact. They're still well and truly in this game. When they get some quality possession, that'll be the test for the Sharks.
Greenhill, one of the star performers for the Sharks in the first 40 minutes. Davidson brought into the game at around about the 20th minute. Treaster, Healy, Green. Inside ball, finding Ryan. He's just inside the red zone. 5 tackles gone. Healy's the man to watch. He's on the right, and there he is. Plenty of time. The ball is high, way across towards the sideline. And that might have come off Albert Fullerby.
Yep, Green. Green got hold of it.
It has indeed.
Green caught the ball and lost it.
With just 3-4 minutes to go. See, Albert Fullerby doesn't need to try and catch his ball. He's better off allowing Andrew Eddinghausen to catch it and then claim him immediately. There's no reason to go up and give the opportunity for that to happen.
One thing's for sure, Cronulla have another good chance. Peachy drifting into the back line. Eddinghausen spins away from 2 tackles. Forced back under the 3rd. 7 metres away from the line, Daly made the tackle. Greenhill down the blind side. He's strong, he's hard to beat. But this time he succumbs to the tackle.
Come on, roll off him. Roll off, roll off, roll off. Hold.
Harrigan, very generous. Long passing. They've gone across to Nikau. It bounces. Then it's with Sean Ryan out wide. Nikau, Fullerby's in trouble. Dodges for the corner. But that's great defence by the Canberra players out there.
And what about the defence? Fullerby was in trouble. I think it's Todd Payton that has come up with a try-saving tackle. Beautiful pass there from Ryan in behind. Nikau finds his winger. Mullins is there, and the big front rower comes over to help. Great work.
Well, it hasn't been short of It's excitement.
And I've really got to say, Ray, that Phil Harrigan has contributed to this game. I think it's been a marvellous refereeing performance. He's allowed it to flow. He hasn't pulled it up for niggly little things. He's got what he's wanted from the players. The game has ended up being a tremendous spectacle as a result.
Here's the last play before half-time. Nakers. Stewart trying to get outside Cronulla with some long passes. And there's half-time. So there's only been the one try. It was scored by Matt Rogers. He's kicked 2 penalty goals. Mal Meninga's side is down by 8. When we come back, the second half will show Cronulla starting 8 points in front. So Canberra running into this breeze in the second half. It's not all that strong. As Craig Greenhill brings it back. Probably, I mentioned Jason Stevens. Craig Greenhill was every bit as good as him. They led the way for the Sharks. Danny Lee, part of that foundation. Nicow crossing the 40-metre line. First set of 6, second half. Hetherington picking up where he left off. Greenhill, second handle. So on 5, Greenhill's taken it up twice. The kick for Green. Little man, but a big kick. And down and over the dead ball line, inviting Canberra to bring it back to them. And Cronulla's forwards will start to hammer them. DeVico. Prittis using Hetherington. Stevens is always first there. It's as if he's got a score to settle with Canberra. Clive. Now Croker. 40-metre line underneath him. 8 points to 0. A try for Matt Rogers. He's kicked 2 penalty goals on top of that. So he basically owns the scoreboard. Peachy. A dummy for Bell. But Boyle had no part of it. Bell. Mandruku taking him down. Hard to believe this side was beaten by such a margin only 7 nights ago.
No, it's a different team tonight. And the word go, they really got some momentum. What about this run from Jason Stevens? He's left Jason Croker in his wake. It's an embarrassment of riches for the Cronulla side. This front row, recent.
Nicow with a very strong run. He was totally wound up when he got the ball.
Oh, Jason Croker's in Disneyland at the moment. He's leaving the field as Danny Lee gets wrestled to the ground. In all sorts of trouble, Croker.
Now Healy starts the bombing raid. And Nagus was under extreme pressure from one of the best jumpers in the business. Matt Rogers was with him. This was Rogers putting it to Nagus, and the Canberra fullback winning the day. Hetherington now. Prittis sweeping it. Stewart. Short ball for Burnham. 10 metres from the halfway. Luke Prittis. Payton. Payton with a clean break. A big dummy. He's into the clear. Gets it away. Ah, Fullerby can't take it. Rogers comes back. Rogers. Kick into the centre. Peachy's after it. Oh, Bradley Clyde. How did he get there?
How did Todd Payton run 40 metres? Throw the dummy. What great football there. Exciting stuff as Mandruku takes it 20 out. What about the ovation of this big man here? Through the dummy. Peachy took it, and unfortunately for the Raiders, that was over the head of Fullerby. Matt Rogers, he swooped, tried to get on the outside of Prittis, kicked, and Brad Clyde in a foot race with a much quicker man Did a great job to get there.
Well, that was magnificent stuff. One of the highlights of the final. Mullins has got a problem. He's not taking any part. Canberra goes on with it. Peyton Stewart Daly on the bounce. Oh, what's happened there?
Yep, no, he hit it forward, and the other guy come around and took it. So he can't nullify the knock on.
There's arguments going on. Paul Green racing away. The crowd have erupted. Ball bounces up. Ruled that it was basically an accidental knock on, I suppose, for David Boyle. The end result is Cronulla getting possession on the halfway line. David Peachy has received some attention. They pointed out Brett Mullins. We'll get a report from Gary Belcher about Jason Croker.
Stevens under the tackle, getting it on for Healy. Treaster goes past the 40-metre line. Hey, gee, I tell you what, he's a great little warrior, this hooker for Cronulla. Nickau holding it back. Eddinghausen accelerates. Rogers extends it. Eddinghausen was there for the flick pass. Rogers again. Nickau dances up to them. Critters goes over the top. Clyde's underneath. Cronulla leading by 8 points. Early minutes, second half. Green gets it away for Nickau. The kick is for Eddinghausen. It was close, he appeals. But Todd Payton has got no worries at all.
That was very, very close. Just have a look at where the ball is. Eddinghausen just gets the slightest of touches. There's not much in that at all.
Goulavai had a chance earlier. Bad pass to him, though. You can't blame him. Here they come, the Raiders. Hetherington storming onto it. Critters, Stewart, Burnham's outside in, cuts him out. Daly, Boyle goes straight and hard. Now they're 25 away from Cronulla's line. Still trailing by 8. Stewart, Manfruku. That's been knocked down. Cronulla's ball. Back on their own 20 now. Ryan. Boyle the tackler. Peachy. Lee the runner. 32 metres away from the Cronulla line.
And as Danny Lee takes it forward, now Jason Stevens does so for Cronulla. Of course, we're reminded of the fact that the Raiders don't have Quentin Pongia tonight as well. And that's why young Payton is getting so much football. And a good burst from Jason Stevens in. Now Craig Greenhill takes it forward 15 or 20 metres. Combining beautifully.
Treaster away on the left. Green crossing the 40. Richardson, knock on from the centre. Gary Belcher sidelines.
Ray, Jason Croker's ready to go back on. Serlo mentioned tough players before. He was knocked out momentarily, but he seems to be totally fine. He's going back on the field right now. Half-time report, Mal Meninga told his players to believe in themselves and to weather the early storm, but I guess the way they're playing now, you'd think there was 5 or 10 minutes to go. It wouldn't be just 8 minutes into the half, but it is a knockout preliminary final, so this is the end of the line if they don't get through this one. He wants the ball to get to the centres for a kick through from Mullins, and Mullins is in fact playing fullback in this half. John Lang, he wants more of the same. They'll keep the intensity up that they delivered in most of the first half. They're doing a great job on Laurie Daly, keep up in his face, and if they put more pressure on Ricky Stewart's kicks, they'll see a bit more
Daly's got to pass away, Gary. Nagus puts on the pace. The ball goes to ground for Goulavai. On the bounce, he gets it back in. It's play on for the Raiders.
I think Brett Mullins should have scored. Mullins was the man that the pass had to find, and Nagus, he saw him too late and it went to the wrong pass, but still a chance on the right-hand side.
Oh, he's put it down out there. Young Todd Payton. He's knocked on with a two-man overlap.
Well, great work again from Laurie Daly. He found space, opened up space for that man, Kenny Nagus. Look at Brett Mullins on the fly on the outside. Give him the ball. Goulavai taken by Matt Rogers, and I don't think Mullins can believe it.
Can't hear you, Sterling. Don't get excited. Richardson. Gary Belcher, I jumped in on top of you. Had you finished?
Oh, virtually, I was just saying they want Peachy will get a bit more space from the kicks if they put some pressure on Ricky Stewart's kicking game, but the way they're throwing it around, I'm not sure anyone's going to bother with kicking the ball in this half.
Canberra's ball there. It was one-on-one. Gary, just very quickly, this Cronulla side beaten last Saturday night by 32 points. Can you believe it?
Well, it's amazing what a dent in the ego will do, and I think all those Cronulla players would just have been waiting all week for the chance to get back out and prove they're not as bad as they were last week.
Payton now, 32 metres away, centre of the ground. Stewart, inside ball for Hetherington. 8 points to 0, no addition to the half-time score. Daly for Mullen. Mullen, he's got support. Jason Croker. Croker's over. Canberra are on the board.
And the man who left the field not long ago, very heavily concussed, his first touch back results in their opening point. And Paul Green gets caught out in defence here as they go one side. Come back as we freeze it there. You see Paul Green, he was actually coming up and he heads in. And that opens up space for this man, Brett Mullins, and he runs into the hole beautifully. See, Paul Green got caught in no man's land. An ankle tap on Mullins, but he was able to maintain his composure to throw the ball onto the chest of Jason Croker. It's going to be 8-6. And all of a sudden, the Raiders are starting to find a little bit of space, and this man, Laurie Daly, is starting to get a little bit more room.
And that has generated the fight back for Canberra. Daly with room to do something, and Canberra are coming back. In the first half, and Gary Belcher said it, they gave Daly nothing. They were all over the top of him. He was like a magnet for the Cronulla defence. And just in the last 5 minutes, Daly has found some space, some time.
It'll be interesting to see how he strikes his first one. I think Laurie Daly's the kind of kicker, if he hits the first one well, he might kick 6 from 6. If he's not good from the word go, anything could happen.
I hope you haven't put the mock on him. You said this will be 6. 15 out. Oh, no! Sterling, why did you do that?
Oh, I was thinking they had David Burner in the team. He's not there.
8 points to 4. And this was it, Gary Belcher.
Yeah, forget about that kick. It's the work of the man with that ball. When he had the ball in his hands, Laurie Daly, that set that up. He just looked inside for a moment at Jason Croker, and that pulled all the defence in close. Here's the kick again. Well, I wonder if he'll take any more after this from virtually in front. I think he may have taken it back a little bit too far as well.
Well, if he doesn't take them, Badge, I'm not quite sure what the other alternative is for them.
I'll try to find out on the bench here.
What are you going to do? Give it to Kevin Neal or somebody?
No, he'll be kicking all night. He kicked 6 from 8 last week in a pretty impressive display, and he's not the kind of player that will let that one miss worry him.
Actually, I'm reminded of, I think, Laurie's first kick in State of Origin. It was a shocker at Lang Park. And I think it was easier than that one. Oh, the mistake coming from Paul Green. The chance that Canberra wanted.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about in the first half, when Canberra can get some quality possession in good field position. That'll be the test for Cronulla. They're about to face it now. Key part of the match coming up.
Nagle putting himself into the game. Full of life for the corner. Full of life. I don't know.
They're going for the video. Referee, it'll show that he's been taken into touch before getting the ball down. Fulavai did a valiant effort at trying to keep the ball in the field of play, but I think you'll find that it's a try-saving tackle here. David Peachy's the man responsible. They got on the outside again, quick hands. Fulavai, good speed to get outside Rogers. Here comes Peachy, and I think that he's in touch.
Yeah, I think you'll find that left arm has gone over the sideline. This is the one. He's easy entertained, isn't he? Full of ace, smiling.
He's enjoying himself.
The arm's gone. Absolutely spot-on ruling. Touch judge never had any doubts. He's the one I'm referring to. We're waiting for the official decision. No try. Now this will be a scrum to restart. And Cronulla will have the loose and feed.
And that is the only situation where you can be excused of going into touch on the first tackle. Paul Green knocked on from dummy half. The Raiders are about to mount some pressure through that set of 6. They went in touch on the first tackle, but that's okay because the corner post was taken and it was a close thing.
Now the shot. Steady as they go. 8 points to 4. Definitely should have been 8-6, but Laurie left his kicking boots at home. Nagus has put himself into the game. Mandruku taken by Rogers, showing that he's not just an attacking player. Doesn't care who they are. Represented his state and his nation this year. Wolford is back on to put a little bit of an injection into it. And he will from dummy half, the number 9. Nagus trying to slip through. Nickow making the tackle with Green. Burnham. Hetherington. Oh! Hetherington. He got it back in. Stewart. Daly. Daly away from one. Got the pass away. And Mullins is with it. Now it's Croker, the try scorer. Now Poulavine gets a kick in. He was held back in pursuit of the ball, I thought.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
But now it's with Cronulla and play on. Peachy sweeps it quickly. Wide for Nickow. On the 40-metre line. I just think Poulavine was a little bit unlucky not to get a penalty there.
Yeah, there's also fairly adventurous stuff from Albert Poulavine, putting a little one through. Got Adam Dykes on now, throwing the dummy out of dummy half. His first run in the game is a pretty good one. Now Jason Stevens. How often have we seen this evening?
That's Wolford coming from the field, so I put the hex on him. Now, Green, a deft kick. He went down on the ground after kicking it, and Poulavine kills the ball in goal. Touch judge didn't come in, so there was obviously nothing in it. Davidson comes back into the game. I'm not quite sure what the problem is with Simon Wolford. That was the replay of the injury. 8 points to 4, the 4th meeting of the clubs. Cronulla 2-1 at the moment. Greenhill putting it down desperately. The ball bounced forward. That's not a knock-on. Davidson, 25 metres from the Canberra line. Oh! Hetherington will have to be careful. Green, Healy, Ryan, out wide and loves it out there. Here's Nickow. They specialise. Second row, wide runners. Danny Lee. Critters is there with Croker. 8 metres from the Canberra line. Now it's Dykes, Healy, Green. Nickow was running like a colossus. Oh, did he knock on? No, knock backwards, said Harrigan. The kick across for Rogers. He bats it in. Oh! Eddinghausen. He all but gave him a chance.
Well, I'd also like to see the no knock on from dummy half. Well, Harrigan saying it went backwards and went forward first off Paul Green's right hand. I'm glad a try did not eventuate.
And then this. Gee. Finish up with Bull and Circus or somebody. He's a high flyer, isn't he?
Well, with Paul Green's effort in the first half on the other side, and on that one, they will get a job.
The jumping jacks from Cronulla. Now, Critters. Stewart. Here he goes again, Nagus. Shrugs off a high shot. 40 metres out from the line. Stewart. That's DeVico. Now Clyde. Away from Davidson. He hangs on Big Les and Andrew Eddinghausen completes it. DeVico. Stewart. Over for Daly. Daly wants a runner. Stewart is there. Now it's DeVico. Wide ball for Clyde. Clyde shaped a kick. Loses the ball.
That's all right, knock back Clyde Blue.
So Eddinghausen spears away for Cronulla. Richardson to the 30 and beyond. Bell. Tackler was Boyle. Dykes. Sean Ryan. You can still hear Bill Harrigan answering a query as he continues on the halfway line. Dykes beats Burnham. Not Hetherington though. 39 metres from the Canberra line. Now the Sharks. They're circling. Healy's kick. Ill-devised pressure, but not really.
And we just saw a perfect illustration of what Cronulla do very well, probably better than most other teams in the competition, and that's give themselves an opportunity to run the football on the last play. And that means the outside men, outside the kicker, have got to be back deep enough. They came Sean Green, but Mitch Healy was behind him. They could have run the football a little bit further. He opted to kick, but all night and for the remainder of this game, you will see that they give their kicker an option to pass the football if he thinks there's something on out wide.
4 points the difference. 1 hour gone. 20 minutes left. Maybe it's going to be longer. What a terrible thought. We have visited that a couple of times during the year. The longest rugby league game on history happened this year in Super League. 104 minutes, I think it was.
And plenty of the players out there tonight were involved in that game as well.
Now Stewart, he's starting to do the fancy thing. His colleagues are responding. Crocus play the ball. Now Wolford and Prittis are both on. Here goes the little number 9. 39 metres away from the Cronulla line. When he used his 2 hookers last week, they really inspired Canberra. Stewart long pass. Boyle. Daly. Back to Stewart. Nandruku's circling from the other wing, trying to stay involved. Croker! Oh! Mullins, the ball propelled forward off his hand.
No, I'm not kidding. You're in front of him, he's tapped the ball forward.
Danger signs for Cronulla, and Bill Harrigan, I'm sure, has got this right. Watch it come from Mullins' hand, there, and propelled forward to that man. No question about it. 25 metres away from the Cronulla line. The Sharks clinging on. Canberra trying to make ANZ Stadium. But the Sharks want another meeting with Brisbane. McKenna. He's pulled down by Wolford on the halfway. Now Davidson. They have an absolute bevy of forwards, Cronulla. When I think of the players that aren't there tonight. Lang, Long. How many more are there? Now Green. That pass might have gone forward. Richardson has put some pressure on Nagas. He'll have to hurry, Nagas. Nagas has pulled down. The line dropout will give it back to the Sharks. It's Cronulla by 4. Canberra are trailing by 4. The Channel 9 pictures go round Australia, the Super League competition. 1 and a bit matches to go. One of these teams will go to Brisbane. Greenhill. first half effort starting to tell a little bit on Greenhill. Stevens throws himself at them. Can they get it over the line here? That's Richardson into touch. Handshakes all round from Canberra. 63rd minute. This is blood bin, I think. Yeah, David. Is it David Boyle? No.
Jason Croker, the look-alike. Into the second row, only a little bit of blood there, so they need to leave the field as Nagus takes the pass from the scrum win.
He's had a tremendous second half, Ken Nagus. Here's a chance for Cronulla. Rogers. 18 metres away from the line.
Sorry, Ray. Poor pass from Laurie Daly. Put pressure on the receiver.
Green. Sean Ryan. Back for Green. Healy. Now 7 metres away. Dykes. Nick out. Inside. McKenna. McKenna. No, he's been held up.
No, you were too long. I'd already blown the whistle and called it up.
Well, you heard Bill Harrigan say that he was too long in getting the football down. Chris McKenna adamant that he did get it down, and obviously he did. The referee had blown his whistle. Ken Nagus, a superb tackle. Ricky Stewart coming in late to help. Again, it will be a Cronulla feed. The fact they were held up over the line, and they win the scrum.
So, Mitch Healy, 10 metres from the line, and Green tries to outstep them. Dykes, Nick out. McKenna goes for it again. Dykes again. Green. Stevens with a flick pass. Green. And then knocked on by Davidson. Well, you've just got to be full of admiration for some of the defensive efforts from both these sides tonight. Coaches using the interchange, particularly as the big men tire. McKenna comes off on the point of collapse. Somebody's going to run a long try in. That's the feeling I get. One of the players with enough petrol. The stage has been set for that scenario. Payton. Critis. One of these sides going to suffer. One of those players with the speed to run the length of the ground. Will it be a Rogers? Will it be a Mullen?
You're in front of him, Matt.
And the penalty will give Canberra a great chance.
Well, they just better be a little bit careful they don't get too fancy, Cronulla. Matt Rogers really made that difficult for David Peachey. He got a bad bounce, then he got the football, and Peachey was going nowhere even if he'd have taken the pass.
Yep.
So now, 6 tackles, 18 out. Here comes Payton.
Stewart waving his arms around like a traffic policeman. Critis. Now Stewart has got it where he wants it. That's him. Angling Boyle back in. Now he should have Daly on the right as a decoy. He has. They come on the left for Hetherington. Daly is waiting wide on the right. Stewart goes to Daly. Daly puts on a sprint. Cronulla's able to meet him.
Sean Ryan.
5 tackles. Stewart rolls it in, and Andrew goes too late.
Well, that's what pressure does. Ricky Stewart, one of the best kickers in the game, had to come up with one into the in-goal area. Even his skill wasn't able to put it in. Sean Ryan, great tackle. Laurie Daly, he was setting sail. And then the tackle just hit, or the kick hit too hard. In fact, way too hard.
So now Cronulla, they get their chance. 11.5 minutes of the game. As Stevens is put down on his own 40-metre line. Stevens tried to milk a penalty. Harrigan jerried to it and told him so. Halfway line, Lee, Dykes, Davidson. Stewart meets him with Prittis on the 40-metre line. Canberra's end. 8-4 the score. Cronulla over Canberra. Only 2 tries in the game. As it's taken or rolled into touch by Dykes. Soaking up some time at the right end of the park. Fabulous day of football. Winding down here at Shark Park. In front of a crowd of probably 16,000, 17,000. Canberra, they must try to use up their 6 tackles if they can. There's still enough time. A couple of times they've been over-urgent. Wolford sweeps it away, looking for somebody who will run. And Hetherington puts it down of his own volition. Healy looks for an opening. 20-metre line. Canberra's in trouble. Danny Lee rolls it down to the 10-metre line. Dykes. Now Stevens. 7 metres away. Dykes again. Green. Nothing fancy. Nick out for Greenhill. 3-man tackle from Canberra. This is desperate. Now, Healy in for Peachy. Peachy across for Nickau. Nickau taken high and low. 2 metres from the line. Peachy. Then on the right for Green. Rolls it in for Boulevard. And it's a line dropout.
And that's the difference. Ricky Stewart looked to do the same thing at the other end. This kick from Paul Green will mean that they'll get possession back and maintain the football. Boulevard takes 2 grasps at it, but finally comes up with the right result. They're at the wrong end of the field, the Raiders. They're about to give possession away once again. Still, it was tremendous defence once again. Greenhill going close, Nickau going close.
Gary Belcher on the sideline.
Yeah, in the final 10 minutes, Ray, I'd expect Cronulla to, well, not completely shut up shop, but certainly play a bit more conservative. Not looking for those risky passes, but perhaps a kicking game. Here we see a high shot on McKenna.
Lower him down.
Well, this is the penalty. This is the penalty that might well put Canberra away. It'll take them, Cronulla, to a 6-point lead.
Yes, it just means that if Canberra are to score a try in this game, it has to be converted. McKenna has run a great gusto tonight. Luke Prittis just getting up around the head area. Bill Harrigan in good position to call on that one. No argument from Prittis when it went against him. Matt Rogers again would be favoured to put this one through.
Prittis coming from the field. Jason Croker goes back. And another change. I think they're bringing young Payton off as well. Rogers. 25 out. Almost in front. The kick. Spot on. The crowd and the touch judges tell the story. The scoreboard shows Cronulla are now a converted try in front. And the difference has been the boot of Matt Rogers, but he's had all the opportunities Canberra's had won.
And really, it's a the same scenario for Canberra now. They still need to score a try. It'll just mean that if they can get the 4-pointer, all of a sudden, enormous pressure on Laurie Daly to pilot the extra 2 points over.
Vico. That's not a real... It's not the good way to come back from a kickoff. First tackle on the 10. Second tackle barely a metre further up the ground. Croker looks at the referee as if to say, why not a penalty? And I agree with him. Wolford. Now Nagus. Straight up the centre. Puts a swerve on. Finds support. Croker it was. Now, Stewart. Oh! Crunching stuff from McKenna. Played by Nandruko. Stewart on for Daly. Then for Clyde. Eddinghausen couldn't make the tackle. Mullins is away. Boulevard's on his outside. Now the inside. And Cronulla's got the ball. What about Eddinghausen's pace? He missed the player back on the 40, and he knew Mullins was on the other side of the park, so he made a beeline for the corner.
There's plenty of urgency for Eddinghausen to get across there, and Mullins, well, he took it on himself to try and beat the man instead of offloading to Fulavai before getting to the defence. Look at this, he's got a choice of either passing to Fulavai and then staying alive to support, or trying to get around Matt Rogers and commit him and then find Fulavai on the inside. The pass went astray. We've now got Jeff Bell down hurt. I think he's in a head clash here with Fulavai. There it is.
Gary on the sideline.
Interesting change here. Andrew McFadden, the young halfback who's played a few games earlier in the year in first grade, coming on for Luke Brittis. The Raiders, well, I guess they're getting all the ball players on the field that they can for some desperation.
DeVico desperate to rake that ball away from Jason Stevens. Stevens is replaced. Davidson goes back into the game. Nicker crossing his own 40-metre line. Wolford snaps the legs from under him. Sean Ryan acting half. Healy's right foot finding the line. Taking a bit of heat out of the game. Taking some time out of the game.
Time, that's the thing. All of a sudden in the last 5 or 10 minutes we've started to see Mitch Healy look for touch instead of just driving it down to the other goal line and getting a good chase on it. Quite happy for all of this time to be chewed up. It's in their favour. And now 5 minutes away from entering a grand final. And they will give themselves an enormous hope of winning it, because they do realise that the bad performance is out of the way. That was last week. They picked back nicely.
Young McFadden packed into the second row. He must be the smallest second rower I've ever seen. But there he is, a dummy half. His allocated job on the field with his first touch. Big moment for him, coming into a game that has got 4.5 minutes left. Nagus, Mullins, and then Fulavai. Fulavai is into touch. Eddinghausen again.
Beautiful hands from Brett Mullins. Albert Fulavai on the outside. That's marvellous stuff from Mullins, but what about Eddinghausen? The head in behind, driving, copybook tackle. Any youngster at home, that's the way to cover defend.
The virus kept him out of the match in Townsville. It's called, of all things, the cocksack virus. That's what he contracted.
Don't look at me when you say it on it. I'll believe you. Yeah. Sean Ryan.
No, I'm deadly serious. Peter Maloof was able to give us the term. It wasn't glandular fever, but that's what it was. Neck out.
Well, John Lang said that Andrew Eddinghausen being in the side was not worth 20 to 30 points. So he was saying that even if he'd have played last week, they'd have still got a touch-up. But he's been an integral member of a fine performance tonight.
Dykes pulled down by Daly. Canberra's season has it only got 3 minutes to run. McFadden. Back on his own 10-metre line. They'd dearly love to be up the other end of the park and that far from the line. Clyde, the ball stolen.
Yeah,
Ripped
silly.
out, Les. Over
Silly
here.
play from Les Davison. Not needed. They had to stay at this end of the field. 2 in the tackle. They'd already come up with 3. He's too experienced for that. Now all of a sudden an extra 15, 20 metres and another few tackles. 6 in all.
This man has been a pillar of strength, DeVico. Stewart. Nagus. Brilliant second half. 2 minutes to go. Cronulla by 6. Nagus has got the ball again. It's become disjointed from Canberra. Stewart takes over. Boyle pulled down on the halfway line.
They've just got to swing it left now. They've got to get across to this side of the field.
Well, here it comes. It's with Daly. And Clyde. He was hit in a booming tackle. 40 metres from the Canberra line. 1.5 to go. Cronulla are with it. Peachy. Dykes. Greenhill. Right in the centre of the park. Would they take a shot?
I wouldn't
They
be
come
taking a
off
shot.
you into the green and then come back.
The knock on there. It's academic now anyway, but I wouldn't have been taking a shot just in case it hit the post and came back and gave Canberra possession. What they needed to do was to go through the set of 6 and then roll it into the in-goal area. They don't need to score any more points to win this game.
Daly. 30 seconds left in the game. The speed men clean it up. Peachy will probably take it to ground, and that might be the last. No. Still 25 seconds on the clock. Les Davidson. Green. Now Richardson. Over the dead ball line. Off Canberra. That's it. That is it. The Sharks are going to Brisbane. 10 points to 4. Cronulla are in their 3rd grand final. 73, 78, and now 97. Never.
Bye.